Now, a couple of side shows in a way, not really, so they're both quite significant. Tucky beaten in now. Who saw that coming?
Well, I think Wilson had a bit of a sniff of it. He seemed to be quite exercised over the course of the campaign. But then again, you know, you always hear there's so much bickering that always goes on between the Libs and Nats in those outlying seats. And I mean, there's even been a punch-up in the coalition party room occasioned by that particular issue. So, I mean, it's always sort of bubbling away. I mean, you're just a bit surprised.
The Nats were always optimistic about it, but isn't it interesting the one seat they wanted to take was off a Liberal?
Yeah, but anybody who sort of thought closely about the last Western Australian state election should have seen that coming.
And Wyatt Roy, a 20-year-old in the seat of Longman, Annabelle.
Play that funky music, Wyatt Roy. This man's a pin-up. He's, youngest MP by a long straw in the House, and it was a beautiful moment last night when he was crossing to the ABC and all the lights went out, and there was some speculation as to whether his parents had arrived and put a stop to the operation. But look, you know, he has taken that seat from John Sullivan, who had a pretty shaky campaign towards the end. There was an unfortunate incident at a community forum that may have been, I don't know, what do you think, Dennis, contributed to the result?
Well, the coalition in Queensland told me that on the Wednesday night of last week, they got their worst numbers in Longman and they'd pretty well written it off. But it came roaring back to them. There was a late swing in Queensland anyway, but it was very strong in Longman, and I think that John Sullivan sort of mocking the father of a disabled kid at a public forum, it's something you just don't do.
And in the Senate, of course, and we'll get on to that now, but it looks as if the Greens will have 9 senators from July and one from right out of left field, Chris, the DLP.
The DLP, Barry, and you know all about this, of course, Victorian, long history there. The last one was Vince Kerr, of course, who got packed off to be ambassador to Ireland, and I think the Holy See. So perhaps that job beckons again in the future, but it's fantastic.
How did it happen? How did it happen? Did it happen in the same way that family first got up last time, that it just that's the way the preferences flowed?
Well, that seat seems to be turning into quite a surprise, a box of surprises. And, you know, let's not completely write off Steve Fielding here, because, you know, there is a chance that he could still prevail in that seat, as I understand it. Senate nerds might have more information for me there. But the one thing, I mean, and yes, that is a complete surprise, the DLP, but it does give you hope to think that at least Tony Abbott has one real friend in the Senate.